Welcome back to Just My Cars, guys, and today's video is about the cars that are coming out in 2018 that I think that you and I should be very excited for, if not somewhat excited, because they're kind of sick still. And this is Aston Martin Vantage AMR, which is Aston Martin Racing. It's a limited run version of the Vantage, so they're calling it, the last swan song of the current generation Vantage. 300 are going to be made, 200 in V8 and 100 in V12 variant. I think there'll be convertibles as well. The V8 will have the same 430 brake horsepower, but the V12 will have power up to 595 brake horsepower. This car is pretty much a future classic. Next year, if you want to buy this, it's going to cost double, I'm sure. The BMW 6 Series GT will be the replacement of that horrible 5 Series GT that no one ever bought. I don't know why you buy a 5 Series in a hatchback form. That's just dumb. So the 6 Series GT is going to replace that and also replace the 6 Series Grand Coupe, which I personally think is bad. You understand? Boss whip. The Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo is also coming out. So it's Porsche's first ever estate car, and it already looks wicked, man. Like, I can't wait to see this on the road. I'll give my thumbs up to any person that decided to buy a Porsche in estate, guys. The Hyundai i30N is Hyundai's first attempt at a hot hatch. Why I think we should all be excited for this car is because this isn't just something that Hyundai put together using maths and scientists and sales figures. They developed this car on rally courses, on racetracks. They've used what they've learned from that and put it in their road car. Every review that I've watched, every review that I've read, has so far said that it is a good little hot hatch. So yeah, it even has a performance pack. Every hot hatch that has a performance pack means it's already sick. Now, I don't really like SUVs too much, but I can't help but get excited over the Jaguar E-Pace. This is going to sit below the F-Pace in the Jaguar SUV range. And because the F-Pace was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, when I see an F-Pace, I'm like, ooh, I like an F-Pace, The E-Pace is going to be cheaper, a bit smaller. So if the F-Pace sold well, the E-Pace will sell well. So I'm pretty excited to see what this is like. Now, I do like an XJ. I do like a Jag. But the XJ, especially the XJR, I don't know what it does to me, man. But when I see it, I'm like, ooh, I do like a Jag. So Jaguar have now decided to release the XJR 575, which has 575 brake horsepower. So that's why it's called that, obviously. Car makers, they're not very creative with what they call their cars. They just add numbers at the end and expect us not to realize. It's gonna have the same V8 from a F-Type SVR. So basically, yeah, it's basically an XJ SVR, but I think because it's an XJ, they're trying to keep it away from the SVR brand a little bit. I don't know. Kia Stinger. This is a car I am extremely excited for. This is going to be a challenge to the premium saloons from all the Germans, basically. So it will be, to me, I see it kind of like a Mazda 6. Something that's an alternative, but still feels as good quality as the more premium brands. So what makes me excited about this is, first off, obviously it's going to be cheaper. Secondly, entry-level engine, petrol engine, because I don't really care about diesels. It will have diesels, but I don't care about them. Petrol engine will be a 2-litre turbo with 250 brake horsepower. The top range, it's gonna have a 3.3-litre V6 turbocharged engine. I can hear your excitement. That's mad. Because if you can't hear my excitement for this car, you're mad. And it's rear-wheel drive. So the potential for this car is just immense. Anything with 4 cylinders, 2 litres, and a turbocharger is just a great start in general. You can remap it, you can do things to it, make it sound nicer. It's just, this car has so much potential. I really do think it's going to be something that people will overlook because they'd rather get a premium brand, when this will offer everything the premium brand offers apart from the premium brand. If you're in the market for that kind of car, please go and consider it, because you'll just make me so much happier. And you'll be doing the world a favour because you won't be buying an Audi. Anyway, Why wouldn't you be excited for the Porsche 911 GT2 RS? If you're not excited for the Porsche 911 GT2 RS, you're mad. That's it. You need to get locked up in, you need to get sectioned. Now, I was once one of those people that looked at 911s and said, why do people like these? They're all exactly the same. Some have spoilers, some don't. They're the same car. Like, why do people buy them? Why do people get excited over them? Then, everything got turned around. I now love Porsches. Like, in 1 year, the way I would just turn from Porsches are just for stockbrokers and they're not really that great to Porsches are amazing. The way that one car can reach so many different markets. You get the entry level, is it the Carrera? So that's just a sports car. Then you've got the GTS, which is a bit harder, a bit more exciting. Then it goes all the way up to the 911 Turbo. Oh, it's a supercar. Then they've got things like the GT3, the GT3 RS. They're mad additions of a car that's already pretty mad. And for a car that shouldn't work, an engine at the back. It's 2017. No other car company puts their engine in the back, but they're still doing it. And their cars are still keeping up with whatever regulations are coming out today, whatever power figures they need to come out today. Like, Porsche is just amazing. So, the 911 GT2 RS is exciting because it's going to have 690 brake horsepower. 690! You understand? 690 brake horsepower in a car that weighs under 1,500 kilograms. 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. And it just whacked out the flipping Nürburgring lap record, 6 minutes 47 seconds or something like that. What kind of madness? What kind of madness? Some of you may know, and some of you may not know, that Holden has been disbanded as a brand. So I bet some of you are thinking, what the hell's Holden? I've never heard of Holden in my life. Holden are GM's Australian brand, but one of their cars came over to us, the Volkswagen GTI. My heart is extremely heavy right now because this was one of those cars that I always just wanted to own. So as a last hurrah, Holden, but obviously for us as a Volkswagen, they released something called the GTS-R. Same supercharged VA as VXR8 and the VXR8 GTS, but this one will have 587 brake horsepower. I don't know about how many are going to be made, but I have a feeling it'll be a limited run. But you know, this car was truly a working class hero, and we don't get them. We don't get a lot of them no more.
I'm so sorry. I failed you.
So finally, after 15 years, give or take, Bentley have decided to replace the Continental. So the next one comes out in 2018. It's going to feature W12, but the version that's in the Bentayga, so it's going to have like 600 brake horsepower. 2018 will see a brand new BMW M5. Now, I know I was getting very excited about the Kia Stinger and how it's going to have a powerful version, but don't get it twisted, yeah. See, when man sees a big body behind that, man knows what time it is, you understand? So the new M5 is going to have upwards of 600 brake horsepower. But this was a killer when I first heard about it, but I trust BMW to do the right thing. It's going to be four-wheel drive. The first ever four-wheel drive BMW M car ever. A four-wheel drive M5 is probably something that most car enthusiasts never thought that they would see. For the car to use its power, it has to be four-wheel drive. However, there will be driving modes that you can turn traction control off. You can choose the bias to the axles. So if you want more power going to the back, so you can do some, you know, M car slidey stuff, that can happen. But if you want to be safe and use the power on, for example, where the car is designed to be, not used, but where the car will be very at home, on the Autobahn, on the motorways, leave it in four-wheel drive, you'll get all the power down on the road, and it's going to just be amazing. The M5 is the one that you want. That is the best of its class, to the point where they called its class the M5 class. Earlier in the year, at the Shanghai Motor Show, a car was released. And this car was known as the Lync&co 01. It's a completely new brand. It's owned by a brand called Geely or Geely. This is a Chinese-based company, but it's backed by Volvo. So obviously Volvo are now Chinese owned. It uses the architecture from another Volvo SUV, I think it's the XC40 or something. It is going to be aimed more at the younger generation. So the type of people that would buy like a Nissan Juke, for example, Vauxhall Mocha, all them little SUVs that are, let's just call them all them little SUVs that young people like to buy if they want to sit quite high and feel like they drive a Range Rover. That's the kind of people that the car's going to be aimed at. So it's going to have a lot of tech inside the cabin. So it'll probably have like wireless charging and probably have CarPlay as standard, Android Car, whatever it's called, as standard. Probably have like 25 USB ports for you and all your friends and all your friends' products. So I'm excited to see this because it's the first Chinese brand that's going to be attempted to be sold in Europe in volume. Don't know how I really feel about it, but I just want to see what it looks like. Whenever Renault release a fast Megane, it's always an exciting time because they are properly good. So the last one pretty much hit every base. It was fast, it handled well, and it looked nice. The new one is going to be more the same, although it's only going to come in 5-door, like Focus ST and RS. 5-doors sell more than anything now, apparently. They said 3-doors, people don't like them anymore, apparently. So it's going to feature a 1.8 4-cylinder, turbocharged 4-cylinder, producing about 300 brake horsepower. It's also going to have 4-wheel steering. Hi guys, it's me again, Dr. Gamzino. Today I'll be explaining 4-wheel steering. 4-wheel steering is when the front wheels turn in one direction and the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction to give greater cornering stability. It can also work where the rear wheels turn in the same direction as the front wheels to give better stability when maneuvering at high speeds, for example, changing lanes on the motorway. 4-wheel steering is more commonly found on larger vehicles such as HGVs, tractors, and coaches. 4-wheel steering is not as common on cars, however, it has been featured on cars for several decades. Cars such as the Nissan 300ZX and the Honda Prelude are examples of this. In the current market, cars that feature 4-wheel steering are the Porsche 918 Spider and the forthcoming Renault Sport Megane. Thank you. Good night. Therefore, it is the top contender right now to get the fastest lap record around Nürburgring for a front-wheel drive hot hatch, for a front-wheel drive car. So the Tyre Part right now, the Honda Civic Tyre Part is probably sitting there pissing itself with fear because it knows the French are coming for that title. So some of you might remember GSI. Volkswagen decided to bring that brand back as a sub-brand to VXR. So like the way Ford have ST and RS, Volkswagen have GSI and VXR. And the first GSI derived car is going to be the new Insignia GSI. It's going to have about 250 brake horsepower. It's going to have 4-wheel drive and it's going to be mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. It's nice to have the GSI brand back, just as leery as the ST brand, to be fair. So Volkswagen have now added GTI to their smallest car. A Volkswagen Up GTI. Yes, you heard it. A Volkswagen Up GTI. I think that you and I should be excited for this because it's just a little nice hot hatch. It's going to be powered by a 1-litre 3-cylinder engine with 113 brake horsepower. The Up is just, usually just sit on the road, you're stuck behind it. It's small, looks a bit pathetic. It is a bit cute, but it's going to have, we're getting a performance version. So a lot of the younger generation, the new drivers, might be able to have an exciting little car that won't ruin them on costs, for example, running costs and insurance. And because it's not even that powerful, they probably won't even be able to write it off because it's not even fast enough. So yeah, that's the Volkswagen Up GTI. So guys, thanks for watching my video. I enjoyed doing it and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Subscribe if you want to see more content. Should have some more coming out and that. You know, man's trying and that. And yeah, thanks for watching.